Hey guys, King Kaiju here, and today I thought I would do something a little bit different. I thought I would take the top 5 worst Kaiju figures in my collection and show you all. So, let's get into it. At number 5, the Mizu no Dragon. Now this figure is not exceptionally bad, it's just very bland in my opinion. There's nothing really special about it. It only has 2 points of articulation, which really doesn't help it, and ignoring the articulation, it's just kind of boring. There isn't a ton going on with it. The character itself was not that cool in my opinion. It just appeared in, to what I know, 1 episode and never appeared again. So yeah, it's kind of a bland and boring monster, and the figure itself is that too, just kind of bland and boring. At number 4, we have the Bandai Creations female Muto. This figure is more of a letdown than really a bad figure, because sadly, this is the only female Muto figure that we actually have currently. And for some reason, Bandai just decided to make a big male Muto instead of a female Muto, which was just kind of stupid in my opinion. So we're only stuck with this figure, and it is way too small. Bringing in Mizu no again, you can see that it dwarfs the Muto. There's no points of articulation, it's just a standard statue of a figure that does nothing special except sit there. So that's why it's at number 4. At number 3, we have one of 2 Spark Doll figures, Dark Galbaros. Now, I am someone that does not like the Spark Dolls. I think that their short size is just terrible, their paint is usually pretty bad, and their articulation is also pretty bad most of the time. This figure is basically that. Yeah, it's basically the exact definition of that. Actually, no, none of the back pretty much is painted. The front is the only part that gets paint, and even still, the paint on the front is very lazily applied. Like on the toes, if you can see, the red is very sloppy. It just does not look good overall. As well as that, it only has 3 points of articulation, which are the arms and the tail. Nothing else. Just those. And of course, sizing. We'll bring him in with Destroya. You'll see this figure in a couple minutes. Yeah, Destroya, just this small figure even towers over Dark Galbaros. But it's not the worst Spark Doll I have. You'll see that in a couple minutes. Next up we have this random knockoff company, Shin Godzilla. So a little story time. I found this guy at a store, and I was under the impression that this is the actual Bandai one, because at the time it was in like a glass case, and you know, you can't actually hold it in your hands. So I couldn't exactly tell at the time that this was in fact a knockoff. The paint is just horrendous. Even on the back, you know, it's very sloppily applied. Even the tail has one of the worst paint jobs I've ever seen. I'm not sure if you guys can see how lazy it is, but it is terrible. As well as that, like even if you look at the face, it just looks derpy as all hell. As well as the arms, can you see how terrible the hands look? Now before we go on to number 1, I'm going to create an honorable mention, and that is for Destroya. I'm pretty sure the review for Destroya is probably out by now, so you guys know my opinion on this figure. And this Destroya figure has a lot of problems. The detail is the only really good upside about it. The detail in paint is pretty good. However, the sizing and articulation is mediocre to bad. This figure does not size up well with other monsters, unless they're smaller than it, which is pretty hard because this Destroya figure is pretty short as it is. But you guys have probably already seen my review on it, so I won't go in any further detail. So now that we've gotten through that, let's go to number 1. The Empowered Bemular Spark Doll. Where do I even begin with this figure? The paint is terrible. I don't think the camera can even pick up that the stomach has a little bit of paint on it. That's how far the back paint goes. The horns, I'm not even sure if the camera can pick it up, but they are also painted. I don't know why my camera is so dark. I'm not sure why that is. The point is, this figure is just terrible. It only has 4 colors on it: the horns, the stomach, the eyes, and the back. And as well as that, head, tail. That is the only 2 points of articulation. Only 2 points. They could have at least gave the arms something, but no, they're molded into the frickin' stomach. No points on the legs either. This figure is god-awful. So that's my top 5 worst figures. Comment down below whether you like it or not. And I will see you all in the next review.